Hi, good afternoon. Uh, am I audible?
Hi.
Okay.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Am I
Yes, you are audible. Your voice
am
is,
I audible
yes, you are audible to me,
to
but
you?
your voice is breaking.
Okay.
So, let me share my screen then. Want to share screen? Yeah. Let me briefly recall whatever we done in the previous class. So in the previous class we have learned that repeated prisoner dilemma, and in the repeated prisoner dilemma we have learned that there is a strategy, that is TFT, and TFT can win in the presence of ALDI. That means a population of ALDI cannot invade a population of TFT. And then we've said that there is some problem of the TFT, and that problem is that if the some opponents just want to for once to see whether what amount of payoff he is getting by defecting, and after that whenever you will find that if I defect, then since other player also defect, then he also shift his strategy. And if uh, this is the case, or maybe some error is happening while playing the strategy TFT, you can interlock in such a situation where you will get a less amount of payoff that you should get if you play a perfect TFT. After that, we have introduced some reactive strategy, and reactive strategy means it is called it require less amount of memory. And I will see just previous step what you had, means what you did, and based on that I will decide my strategy. So reactive strategy means if in the previous step, suppose we both cooperate. Now since I observed that you cooperated in the previous round, I will select cooperation in the next round with quality P, and I will defect. Means if instead of, in place of cooperation, if you would do, means if you did defection in the previous round, I would do cooperation again with quality Q. So P is the probability of cooperation if I observe in the previous round you cooperated, and Q is again the probability of cooperation if I observe you defected in the previous round. So this is the reactive strategy, and after introducing the reactive strategy, we have calculated what will be my stationary state. That means what will be my cooperation probabilities, and what is the on average payoff we both will get. So we calculated what will be the stationary cooperation probability of the first player, that will be this S1, and the cooperation probability of the second player will be S2. And from that we can calculate what is the probability that this cooperation outcome will occur, that will be S1 S2. What is the probability that cooperation and defection outcome occur, that is this probability. And similarly we have calculated this, and after knowing the stationary outcome probability, we know for sure if we wait enough, or if we playing this reactive strategy in long enough, our expected payoff will be, or on average this much payoff I will get. And since we are if we means now if we talk about the evolutionary game theory, then this expected payoff will be our fitness. Expected payoff will be fitness of this first player, or this player who is playing the strategy S1. That means strategy that with probability P1 I will play cooperation, if I observed in the previous step you also cooperated, and with probability q1 I will play cooperation in the next step if I observed you defected in the previous step. So that is that. Now we have proposed a thing that we can, since we know this payoff, average payoff, we means means we discuss about the thing that if we select some strategy p and q, that since p and q is the strategy here, the p and number p and q, uh, uh, these two number is the strategy of a player. Now if I select these two number from a random generator between 0 to 1, suppose I am choosing this number randomly from 0 to 1, and then I will get so many strategy that I want. Now I just want to choose some 100 such kind of strategy. I will choose 100 p1 q1 randomly, 100 p1 q1 randomly. And since I know if if one strategy is p1 p2, and if it play against the p2 q2, what amount of payoff it will get, I can write a replicator dynamics by this way. So if I now I can calculate what will be the fitness of s1 and what will be the fitness of s2 if the player 1 is playing s1 and the player here the player is playing the strategy s2. Then we can calculate by using this formula what will be her payoff and what will be her payoff, and what will be her payoff means what will be her fitness, or expected payoff means this fitness. Now after getting this we can calculate the average fitness, then I can easily write the replicator dynamics. Now we can ask that if I assume that these all random strategies are there initially in the population equally. Now if I run my dynamics will say that at the long run which type of individual will be selected. So let me show you the code. So this is a very simple code, anyone can write. So I have write a code. So here I choose the value of my game, the prisoner dilemma game. R equal to 3, S equal to 0, T equal to 5, and P equal to 1. And this is my the expected payoff. That expected payoff we have, means in the previous class we had arrived at that uh, expected payoff. That expected payoff I have written. Now I am taking a random, suppose 98 random number. So let me put this gtft, and so only okay. So this is a already strategy. You can see the already strategy means I have this is I introduce a already strategy, and already strategy means that the probability of defection and probability of means that already, what does the already strategy means. So already strategy, let me write, it is already strategy. I have chosen the already strategy. So already strategy as p1 is equal to 10 to the power minus 7 and q1 equal to 10 to the power minus 7. That means I am saying if my opponent cooperate, my opponent cooperate in the previous round, what is the probability of cooperating in this round? It will be 10 to the power minus 7. And instead of cooperation, if my opponent defected in the previous round, what will be the probability that I will cooperate in this round? That will be again 10 to the power minus 7. So that is my already strategy. And in the presence of already, you can see if I run this code. So here you see that which strategy at the end of the day is means going to uh, um, means in the end of the day, which strategy is going, which strategy's frequency is become 1, that is p equal to 1 and q equal to 0. That means it is nearly about, not nearly about, it is the aldi strategy. So if in the population, if the some aldi type strategy present, my replicator dynamics will show that in the long run the population, whole population will become here. So here the situation is, let me write it down. Here the situation is, there are 100 types of individuals were present there initially, and everyone's frequency was same. Now I ensure that there is present a Waldy type strategy. Now, in presence of Waldy type strategy, you find that that all other strategies other than the Waldy strategy will extinct from the population, and only whole the population will become Waldy type strategy. And again, that the cooperation, the in the population there will be no cooperation. So cooperation is, you can see the mean cooperation is actually going towards 0. Now if I introduce this TFT strategy, now if I introduce this TFT strategy, let's see what will happen. Okay, I here again cooperation defection, I have not included these things here. So I have in my array, I have not included the TFT strategy, TFT. So if I now include the TFT strategy, let's see what will happen. Yes, now you see, in presence of TFT, so this one, this green one is TFT strategy. So this green one is, can you see my screen? Yeah, then okay, this okay, this green one is the TFT strategy, and in the long run the TFT strategy will extinct. But interestingly, what strategy will take over the whole population? That is nothing but the GTFT. I am saying that it will cooperate with probability p equal to 0.99, but it will defect with, means this is the strategy that you are seeing in the long run, that is corresponding to p equal to 0.99 and q equal to 0.32. Let me write it down. So it is p, it will be p equal to 0.99 and q equal to 0.3 0.32, q equal to 0.32. That is what is winning in the long term. That is what it is winning in the long run. Yeah, I
Yeah, hi, sorry, I got disconnected for a
okay.
while because of the connectivity problem. I hope I am clearly audible now.
Yeah, you are clearly audible. So let me then repeat again these things. So whatever I have said, I just make sure that is happening actually. So I did a simulation of the replicated dynamics. I have taken 100 random strategy. So now my strategy, if you so we know what is my strategy. My strategy is nothing but a number, p and q. P is the probability, some probability, q is also again some probability. P representing the probability of cooperation if my opponent cooperated previous round, and q is the probability of cooperation if my opponent cooperated in the defected in the previous round. Now in the presence of only defection, not the TFT, if in the presence of only defection, not TFT. So what we may what we should observe, we should observe that the TFT should win in the long run if my random number does not taking. So you see that what strategy, if you can clearly see the strategy in the population, these lines are nothing but the frequency in the population. Now you can see this green one is corresponding to a strategy frequency of the corresponding to a strategy which is equal to p equal to 0.00 and q equal to 0.02. And these are the similarly you can see that all the types who are remain who were in the population will be going to extinction other than all d is p equal to 0 0 and q equal to 0.0. So that means in the presence of all d in the whole population, only the population only in the long run you will see all the types will extinct, only all d will remain there and all d will invade, all d will be the fate of the population. Now just we introduce a little bit of TFT. So I am introducing a TFT strategy with ALDI and TFT. Now what we expect, let's see. Now if I okay, let me, because lots of random strategy is there, so maybe it may not be the case that it will select the GTFT, or maybe my random generator will not select the GTFT. It is chance of, okay, maybe introduce the GTFT by hand with this random number, then it will be the clearer case. uh, this is my GTFT. Let me also introduce this GTFT case here. So what we are doing, so so you can see clearly see that that this orange line, this is the frequency of the orange, then frequency of orange representing a type which is p equal to 0.99, q equal to 0.17, and this green line is corresponding to my frequency of the TFT type, because p equal to 1 and q equal to 0. But all of a sudden one strategy start rising, and which is this strategy? This strategy is nothing but p equal to 1 and q equal to 0.33. This is corresponding to generous tit for tat, and all of a sudden you will see that the increment of this generous TFT. And what does this
So, but then I have a query here that, I mean, in this frequency, I mean, whose frequency is being shown here?
okay
What
it
this frequency here is?
okay, so my here the premise is, suppose there are 100 strategies are there. So in the population there are 100 types of individuals there, and each 100 types will playing means are there, and will these 100 types of individuals there, and every type has its own strategy, own PQ. Now in the population I can say x is the frequency, suppose x is the frequency, x1 is the frequency of the individuals who is playing the game using a strategy p1 q1.
So
Right.
X is the, so what this X1 here is now? X1 is an individual.
X1, yeah. So
X1, okay.
x1,
So
okay, you
yeah,
continue.
so X1 is an individual having the values of the P and Q as P1 and then Q1. And then there are 100 number of the individuals. So how do we carry out this aggregate thing so as to,
Oh, okay, x is not individual, x is the frequency. So in the population you may say there is a population, in the population there are infinite individuals, let's say there are infinite individuals. Now I am saying how much, what is the frequency of those individuals who are playing the strategy p1 q1. So that number is x1. Suppose x1 is the frequency of those individuals who are playing the game with strategy p1 q1. Is it clear?
But then, I mean, this would be very, very rare because in a population of infinite, I mean, how many people should be there and who are playing with the values 0.99, 0.32? Quite possible that many of them may be playing with the value 0.97 and then 0.36.
Exactly.
So then this quantity, I mean, those individuals whose P and Q values exactly match would be very, very few, isn't it?
Exactly. So that's why, exactly, you are saying correct, that what is our premise, that we want to see that in the regime of this reactive strategy, which strategy will be ultimately win in the evolutionary case. So we know that our dynamics is replicator dynamics. Now, and if I want to see that, so what should we do? That I will randomly generate 100 strategy first. This is the premise. I will generate randomly 100 p and q's. So these are the 100 strategies. Now I will say, if these 100 strategies are the 100 type of individuals, that are 100 types of individuals that is in my population. Now in population, how many individuals are there? I will say a large number of individuals are there who are playing these 100 types of strategy. Now out of this 100 type of individually, I will say, suppose that initially all the strategies, all the types are equally abundant. So since 100 individuals, 100 types of strategies or 100 types of individuals are there, what is the initial frequency of, suppose, p1 q1 strategy? That will be 0.01, and p2 q2 0.01. I will say all are there equally abundant. Their frequency initially was all equal. Now I ask, if I introduce, means by means or if I ask that, if in that population some oldie type of strategy present there, now what will happen? I am saying that, means whatever you are saying, it is correct, that the to getting a particular type of strategy is very less, because I am taking 100 random strategy. So out of those 100 strategy, how could I ensure that what particular strategy will be there? Is it your question, right?
Yes, and then so I mean, while drawing the graph, what is being shown at the y direction and what is being shown in the x direction?
Okay.
And if y direction the frequency is, what is that?
X direction is
And
time. You can say that in the replicator equation, that is time. So we are,
okay,
it is basically simply showing the replicator equation, the x dot equal to x ith type into the fitness of this minus 5. I am just generating the time series of this xis.
yes, and now since there are 100 number of the strategies, 100 values of the p's and q's, so quite possible that 10 participants, 10 individuals may be playing TFT with some other strategy. Others may be using some other strategy. I mean, so then there could be many strategies they might be using.
Yes, exactly, that is the case. 100, I am taking the 100 strategy. If you see the code here, you will, I am taking two random number, and these two random number is the strategies. Now I making sure that there is some already strategy present there, and I am choosing a already strategy by making it that 10 to the power the p is 10 to the power minus 7, q is 10 to the power minus 7, and I am by hand I am putting a TFT strategy. It is 1 minus 10 to the power minus 7, and p equal to 1 minus 10 to the power 7. It is very nearly 1, and q is again very nearly 0. Is it clear?
Yes, and now I could understand from here that actually in the random strategies we are just picking two people. I mean, out of 100 we are taking Oh,
No,
we are picking two random strategies, and the values of P and Qs of those strategies are fixed. I mean, in out of the 100 strategies,
hmm.
they are fixed. Now, in this case, they are being categorized into three categories only: ALDI, TFT, and then GTFT.
No, 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 no. Here, this means, okay, let me write it. Here, this means, no, no. Here, this means, suppose, here I am choosing 100 PQs randomly. Randomly, I am choosing 100 PQs. Okay, from then P's values between 0 to 1 and Q's values will be 0 to 1. Now, what may be the case that in between those 100 strategy you may not choose that the already, means it could also possible that you will not choose this strategy at all, means inside your 100 random strategy it may happen also that 0 0 is not present there. It may happen, you agree that it may happen.
But actually, this is not being shown in the code. In the code, what is happening? I
Huh,
mean,
huh.
how could I understand it? Is that initially we are picking random strategies,
Of
and this is the random value. But we random value, we are picking two random values
No,
out
we
of.
no. I am here not two random values. It makes a 98 random values with two, means every time it is making two tuple. So if you print this, you will see that it will
Okay.
make 98 two numbers, two random numbers. PQ 98 PQ it is generating.
Oh, I see.
Hmm.
I see.
And then
And
since
yes.
there is the possibility that in this 100 doublet 100 what it call I forget 100 doublets, it may also happen that all is not present at all. So I am by force I am putting with this 98 strategy I am putting another strategy which is close to all the, you can see this is the P, this is very nearly 0 and this is also very nearly to 0, that I am putting. Now I am also want to put a TFT like study. What is it is, its P should be closely to, means close to 1 and Q should be close to 0. And what is GTFT? It is close to 1 and that its Q is one third or it is close to one third. You can may also find it close to one third. Now, what will be now my whole 100 strategy space? One is that 98 random strategies, one already, one TFT, and one GTFT. Now I am sure that in my 100 strategy space, one TFT is present, one already is present, one GTFT present. Now is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now the question is, out of these 100 random strategies,
By the way, what's the purpose of the V stack in the code? I mean, why are we using it
okay, it is
at the
because
end in the code? Yeah.
okay, V stack means since it is means it is a it is a matrix of every element, means this is kind of the V stack means. So I am getting 98 this kind of number PQ, then uh, P1 Q1, P2 Q2, P3 Q3. So this kind of thing. Now this is my 98 array. Now I just want to add another element to this array, that is, because this is my strategy, these are the every element is the strategy. Now I want to stack another strategy here which is TFT. So I am stacking those strategy also P1 with this. I am stacking a strategy which is already P already, Q already, and then P TFT, Q TFT, and PGTFT and QGTFT. So that is the purpose of stacking. So I am stacking V stacking. I am stacking these, means I am adding my these elements with the 98 random strategies. Now is it clear?
Yes, yes. But then 98 plus 3 is equal to 101. Probably
Maybe
there might be 97 strategies being created.
it doesn't matter. You may, because I am saying that because of simplicity I am taking 101 and 100. It doesn't matter if you take 1000 or so many random strategy. It doesn't matter. You will always find that the GFT at the long run, the all the individual, all the population will become GTFT. This is my
Okay, okay.
this is my the thing that I want to show you, that in presence of TFT, only the GTFT individual will be selected, and in the population in the long run you will see only the GTFT type individuals. Means initially in the population all 100 types of individuals are there who are playing with 100 types of strategy. Now if I wait long enough, evolution will select only GTFT, and you will see in the population all the individual become all type, all the infinite individuals will become GTFT.
Okay, okay.
That is what it is being present in the code. So okay, let me, I don't know what is happening here. So that is what it is shown in the code, and you will I will this is GTFT, and it should select the GTFT, but it is not showing now. Yeah, now you can see that here, if you see that in the you cannot see, maybe I think it is not, you cannot see it properly. Now maybe you can see it properly. Okay, maybe I don't know, maybe this is the thing, that in the y axis it is the frequencies, and frequencies are going from 0 to 1, and in the x axis it is the time. And if you wait enough, you will see that your the TFT like strategy, that is his here by orange color, it is second strategy 2, p equal to 1 and q equal to 0. That strategy will increase fast, that means TFT will increase fast, then it will decrease, and then it will extinct in the population. And at the end of the day, what strategy you will find in the population is there, that is corresponding to the GTFT, that is p equal to 1 and q equal to 0.33. So that frequency become 1 in the long run. That means in the long run, the all the individual in the population will become a GTFT like strategy. So that is all. That means in the long run you will see in the population the frequency of the cooperation will increases to almost 1, and in the absence of TFT like strategy, you will find that aldi is actually winning, and in presence of aldi the mean cooperation level will become 0. So that is the thing. Now is it clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
So that is thing that I am showing, that I am telling you that what is the best in the long run. So it is the best in the long run to play GTFT strategy, which is called the generous TFT, which means that it is a slice modification of the TFT. So with 1 I will play cooperation, and with q equal to 1/3 I will play defection. If I see my opponent cooperated in the previous round, with probability I will cooperate, and if my opponent defected in the previous round, I will cooperate with again 1/3 probability. That is called the generous TFT. Now why this number 1/3? So let me calculate it. So why this number 1/3? Because means it has to ESS against the, it has to be ESS, it has to be ESS. That means E, suppose this is p equal to 1, q equal to 1/3, this is my ESS. Then sorry, suppose S a strategy with 1 and 1/3, this is GTFT, this is GTFT, and S equal to 0 0, this is already. Now GTFT to be ESS, that means in the replicated equation you always find that GTFT will evolve, or GTFT will in the whole population no individual can invent GTFT. That will be the case when it GTFT is ESS, that means if fitness of GTFT playing against GTFT will be greater than fitness of all D playing against GTFT. So let me first calculate. So if GTFT player playing against GTFT, what will happen? GTFT, GTFT, you'll find that GTFT will play in the first round cooperation, and after seeing the cooperation, since GTFT means if my opponent always cooperate, I will cooperate. So cooperate. So only cooperation you will see, and since cooperation is there, so unexpected it will get a payoff R in every round. And if a plays GTFT plays against all D, all D, if GTFT plays against all Z, what it the first round it will play C. In the first round, all D plays D, and no matter what GTFT plays, Aldi will always play defection, always play defection. So in the first round it will get C. In the consecutive round it will get D with, means in the consecutive round, since seeing D, GTFT will play with 1/3 probability C and with 2/3 probability D. So that means it on average payoff will be, or maybe let me write it here, Q. I am tries to finding out value of Q with probability Q after seeing that his opponent is playing D, with probability Q it play C, and with probability 1 minus Q it will play D. So unexpected it will get with Q probability, and if C plays C it will get a sucker's pair of S, and if it plays D it will get it will get a uh, it will get a payoff of it will get a payoff of it is I think QS, and it is getting a payoff 1 minus Q into 1 minus Q into 1 minus Q into P. Now if this R has to be greater than this number, and again since GTFT is GTFT in the presence of GTFT cannot invade all the always, only GTFT is ESS when in the presence of TFT. That means GTF at first TFT, here what happens, that TFT is actually invading the already population fast, and the presence of GTFT is GTFT actually invading TFT. So we have to again see whether or not the GTFT is ESS against TFT. So we have to also see that A star is 1 comma 0, that, and another strategy that is 2, that is TFT strategy 1 comma 0, and with some error you will find that it is also with some error. This is, and you will find with some error, sorry, this is with some error the TFT, and you will find if you put this P and Q number in the formula to calculate this ESS, the not the expected value of payoff, here you will always get this result, that this q has to be in between minimum of 1 minus t minus r by r minus s, r minus p by t minus. So you have to choose q in between these. That's why q is one third is yes, because if you put the value r equal to 5, p equal to 0, t r equal to 3, here r equal to 3, p equal to 0, p equal to 1, t equal to 5, q equal to s equal to s equal to uh, s equal to 0, you will get t minus p, r minus p, that will be 2, and t minus p, that will be 5. So one third will be less than that. That's why this one third strategy is GTFT strategy. That's why it is selected against that. So this is the details of these things. Now let me end this thing here, and let me go towards the here whatever we did, it is called the deterministic selection. Now deterministic thing of the evolutionary dynamics. Let us now go to the stochastic part of this evolutionary dynamics. So if you have any question, you can ask me, or I will proceed to. Okay.
So I heard one term, stochastic games,
Hmm.
while reading notes.
Yeah.
So then, stochastic games and whatever you are going to discuss now about the stochastic things is one and the same thing or different?
No, stochastic games is not that thing. Whatever I will do, that in the finite, in the I will do stochastic dynamics. I will not the stochastic games. Yes, there exist as stochastic games. I will not go to that. I will just briefly mention what the stochastic game is. So here, whatever we
So
did.
now, yeah. So now, since I have heard so many terms
Hmm.
like about the games,
Hmm.
so from where can I find a comprehensive review of the different types of the games I being used in the game theory? I heard the term like combinatorial games,
Huh.
stochastic games. I mean, and
So your voice is breaking. I cannot hear you. Huh? I can't hear you.
okay, level wherein a brief description and the classification of games is giving.
Oh, classical games. So there is a good book of Bonanno. Means there is another kind of game that I will mail you the reference of the books from where you can get a means these things, that all types of games will be there. So I will mail you the references.
So I lost you for some time,
Okay, I
so I
will.
could not hear you there.
So I will mail you the all the references, that means all the references there from where you can get this comprehensive thing. All the games will be available. And currently I recall one book. One is very good to read. It is called the Bonanno. The author name is Bonanno, but I forget the name of the books. And there is also another book is called the Game Theory by Rubin. There are two introduction to game theory by Osborne and Rubinstein. But I will mail you the references.
Okay, okay, yeah, thanks.
So now let us go to the case of finite population. Finite. Now whatever we did in the previous classes, we we have talked about the dynamical perspective of the population. That means in principle we were assuming that in the population there are infinite number of individuals, and those infinite number of individuals are reproducing, and because of those reproduction, we can write on the mean field level, and there is no stochastic term exist because of the large number of the population and large number of reproduction is going on. That's why we can write these on the mean field level. We can write the deterministic equation like x dot equal to x f of some x minus phi. But in place of if we do have only finite number of individuals in the population, then we cannot write this kind of equation. We have to see the stochastic version of it, and we have to see the dynamics that at an instant one individual is coming in the population, and what will be the at the end of the day, what kind of scenario you can see. So here it is the case, but it is always means it is always for the studying purpose, or it is for if you want to tackle, if you want to solve a evolutionary game theory problem or research problem or any problem, then it is always suggested to see the dynamical part first, because to analysis this to analysis the dynamical equation from this linear stability analysis, it is very easy to do. And if you miss some aspect of the evolution through these those evolutionary dynamics dynamical equation, we you should go to this finite population things. And one of the thing is that in the previous case we know that if the selection will only happen if suppose there are a type of individuals and b type of individuals, the selection will select among between one of them only when if the fitness of the a is greater than fitness of the b, or fitness of the b is is greater than fitness of the a. So if these two cases happens, then only the selection happens. If a become fb, then we say that is there is no selection is going on, because the fitness of these two individuals are same. And you will see that you can observe in the presence of this equal fitness that coexistence is possible between these. So no selection or no kinds of drift you will find that population will go either towards A or either towards B. This is called the neutral selection, or it is called the this is called the neutral selection. The selection is not happening here. The selection stop. Now the question is, will it be the case that if I assume a finite number of population, that these two individuals will be stay there, their coexistence is possible? So we will find that no, this is not possible. The neutral dip will in the population, if the in the population if two types of individuals are there, one is b type and other is a type, then in the long run you will see that only one type of individuals will take whole population, and that is because of the neutral dip. So let me introduce the neutral dip concept now. So neutral it is called neutral drift. Now suppose that there is a population of a finite number n, and the number of the populations, the number of individuals in a population is always remain constant, so it is n. Now to now here no mutation first, the number of individuals constant, so this is n, and no mutation is going on, no mutation is going on, and that means red only produces red, and with royalty rate, suppose its fitness is suppose 1, and blue only produces blue. This is the case. Now there is no mutation, red only produces red with fitness 1, and blue only produces blue with fitness 1. Now here uh, now how to, if they are producing in this manner, then how to fix the number? So what we'll choose, adapt a process, it's called, we'll select randomly one individual from the population, and we uh, will give her a chance to reproduce, and at the same time we will again randomly select one individual to uh, randomly select one individual to eliminate from the population. And uh, why it is eliminated? Because suppose one red individual is selected from the population, then if it reproduces and we have to fix the number, because the number of individuals now become n plus 1, we have to kill one individual from this population. Now it become, we randomly pick another individual and will eliminate this individual, and in place of this individual the reproduced individual will be there. So that is our process, and this process is named after the one geneticist whose name is P.A.P. Moran, who invented this process in 1958. It is called the Moran process. This is called the Moran process. Moran process. So is the process is clear?
Hello.
Yeah. Is the process
So, but
uh,
yes. So I could not understand that. I mean, what is the actual problem if the fitness of two individuals is equal?
equal? Okay, if the fitness of the two individuals is equal, what our dynamical thing says, that x dot will be that x into, so x into, suppose fa minus phi, so this will be x, fa phi is average fitness, x fa minus 1 minus x fb. Now it will become x equal to 1 minus x fa minus fb. Is it clear? The dynamical equation, x dot will be.
Yes.
Now if fa will become fb, that means this term is 0. So dynamics is saying it will always be 0. So dynamics is saying no drift is there. The drift is 0.
But then, yes, it is okay. But then there would be many A's individual. There would be many B's individual.
Exactly.
So even if some of the I see. So you mean to say that all the A's are having equal fitness and all the B's are having equal fitness?
Exactly.
That case.
That
Okay,
case.
yes. Now
And
I understood. Yeah, fine.
x is the frequency of that a individual. So now this drift is 0. That means select this drift because of selection is 0. Now I asking, since we are talking about the here, when we are writing the frequencies, we think that population is very large and infinite population, the variation of the noise term is 0 because of the random death birth. Now if I want to include those random death birth process, will it be the case that the drift will be remain 0? So that's why we have to study the neutral drift in the finite population. Now in the finite population the process is simple. Suppose there is a population of finite number of individuals and it remain constant, no mutation is happening, a type is reproducing only a type and b type is only reproducing b type. And how we select to reproduce one individual, we randomly select that individual and it will make one copies of herself, and we will again select randomly one individual to eliminate from the population. So this is the process. So what possible outcomes could happen? So here, now in this population, what will be by the states? In this population, in the Moron process, what will be my states of the population? State of the population could be, suppose I is the number of A type individuals. Now if I is the number of A type individuals, then my population state could be I equal to 0, That means in the population there is no A type individuals, or maybe I equal to 1, maybe I equal to 2, and it could also happen so I equal to n. So I is the state of the population. If I know I, I could know what is the state of the population. So this is the I is the state of the population. Now in this population what could happen? So A individuals I can take randomly a individual from the population with what probability? Suppose now let me suppose there are I number of individual in the population of A type. Now I want to randomly pick an individual from the population. What is the probability of picking an A type individual? That will be obviously I by n. And what will be the probability of picking a B type individual? That will be n minus I by n. That is the case. Now there could be, if I go through the Moran process, there could be what kind of thing is possible. One, I am choosing a type individual to reproduce. So I am choosing A type individual to reproduce. So one A type individual will reproduce, and similarly we could also means here, and the Moran process is saying with that I have to picking one individual to eliminate. Now if I pick an A individual to eliminate, then what will be the happening to my state? Because A is reproducing one individual and I kill another A individual anywhere. I picking another A individual to kill. So in that process I have to pick two A individual. One is responsible for replicating or producing one A individual, and one individual I am taking for randomly eliminating the population. So with what probability this will happen? So this will happen with I square by n square. But if this process happens, the population state will not change, because one A type individual reproduces and I will kill another A type individuals. So total number of A type individuals will remain same, and it will remain same with probability I square by n square. Is it clear?
But then this would be the probability of getting two A's also. Exactly. Because say if, so there would also be I square by n square. So more or less the things would remain the same.
Yeah.
That A may reproduce A may reproduce another A. I mean, A reproduces two A's. Would be same as that one A would be same as that the population remains intact here, like in this case. Like in the second equation, if you could have instead of x, if you write capital A, so then what is the probability? There would also be I square by n square only.
Oh, okay. No, this will be I square by n square. By my process is, it is not my process that in the one instant, so in the one instant, I will take one A individual to reproduce and take another individual, any type of individual. Suppose I am taking A type individual to die. I am in a, it is called the birth death process. So I am not the Moran process, it is called birth death process. Birth death process. So in one step this will happen, one individual will take birth and one individual will die. So these two events will happen simultaneously.
Okay.
So that is the meaning of this. So one A type individual is taking birth, means one new A type individual is born in the population and one A type individual die. So what will be the probability? That will be I square by n square. And if it happens one new A type born and one old A type dies, so total number of A type individual will remain same, that will remain I. So my population state will not change. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now another thing also possible where my population state will not change. Suppose I will pick one B type individual, a new B type individual born, and then simultaneously I am picking a B type individual to die. So then also my population state will not change. So then again the probability will be to choose a B type individual n minus 1 by I into n minus I by n, that will be n minus I square by n square. So in this way,
But then it may so happen that A produces B and then B dies, and then B produces A and then A dies.
no mutation is there. So only A type produces A and B type produces B. So no
Okay,
mutation is
okay,
there.
okay. Yes, yes.
Now another thing is possible. Third is A, I picking A to reproduce one A type individual born, but I picking B type individual to die. Then what will happen? Number of A type individual will increase by 1. So in this process what will happen? My population state will change to I to I plus 1. So in the population now, my total number of A type individual will be I plus 1. So this will happen with what probability? I have to pick one A and I have to pick one B to die. So this will be my probability I into n minus I by n square. Is it okay? Now my population, in the population, one A type individual will increase.
Yes, yes,
Now
yes.
what will be the other process?
Other would be that B produces B, but then A dies.
Exactly. Then die. A dies. Then what will be the probability? That probability will be again 2n minus I by n into I by n. N square. And this will be, now here my population state is goes from I to I minus 1. Now this will be the cases. Now uh, in this process you will see that only two fixed points are there, and in stochastic dynamics it is called absorbing states are there. Only two absorbing states are there, and if the population somehow reaches to that state, they will remain there forever since no mutation is there. So somehow by this process they go toward the state where all individuals are there, and or if it somehow it achieves a state which corresponding to I equal to n, that means all individuals are there. Since no mutation is there, no B type individual will arise in the population in long run. That means always they remain in the I equal to n state. So that means it is kind of an absorbing state. If they will go there, they will stick there forever. And another absorbing state is I equal to 0. If all A type individuals and I equal to 0 means all B type individuals. If the population in somehow in this process, the birth death process, if somehow it reaches to I equal to 0, it will remain always at I equal to 0 because no mutation is happening. If it reaches to all B state, then all B type individual will be remain there. No A type individual is can come in the population. And you see this is the case, but my infinite population dynamics, my infinite state population dynamics are not hinting toward this. That means they are saying the initial frequency of A and B will remain same, it will not change, but because of the neutral dip, because of the stochastic effect of the birth death, it could happen. So all individual become A type or all individual become B type. Now the question is, what is the probability? Suppose in the population, now if I ask that, suppose in the population I number of A type individuals present there, now what is the probability that I will become to n? That means I will, this from random I state, it will reaches to all A state. What is the probability of that? So let's see. Means suppose that probability xi. Xi is the probability that from, if they in the population ith A type individuals are there, in the long run they will reach to observe reach to a absorbing state which is corresponding to I equal to n. Now to
So absorbing state means that all the individuals, I mean, in the population becomes of A type only. There are no Bs.
No B's. And similarly,
Okay.
another absorbing state will be that all B type individuals are there. There is no A.
Okay. Okay.
So, if xi is the probability of absorbing in this all A state, being absorbed in all A state, what will be probability that being absorbed in the B state? Because it will, in the long run, it will either hit all A or either hit all B. It cannot remain in the coexistent state. So what will be the probability? That probability will be simply 1 minus xi will be being absorbed in all B state. So that is the thing. Now we have to calculate what is this probability. Now if xi is the probability, now let's see. So if what will be x0? If there is no A type individuals in the population, suppose I equal to 0, there is no A type individual in the population, what is the probability that it will become all A type? All or A type? Any guess?
So, what's your question? That what is the probability that all population becomes A type?
A type if initially there is no A individual.
Okay, so if initially there is no A, then we will consider the third case wherein B is producing an A.
That is not
Uh,
possible.
so
The
B
no
is producing an A.
no mutation is not there, so B producing A is not possible.
Oh, I see. I see. So since there is no A initially, so if there is no mutation and there is no initially, then how can we get how can we get A? This would be zero.
Yes, exactly. This will be 0. I is 0. So x0 is 0. Now what will be the probability that from x equal to I state it will reach to all A type? So it could be happen that maybe that it will from this state it will go to uh, I plus 1 state with, suppose p I plus 1 is the probability of going from total A type number of A type I to I plus 1 into maybe from I plus 1 to they are reaching to total n state. So that probability will be x I minus 1. Oh sorry, this will be I plus 1, and plus maybe in this state they are reaching at I to I minus 1, and from I minus 1 state what is the probability of reaching to all A state? That will be x I minus 1. Okay.
So probability of going from I to I plus 1 means the probability of going from xi to xi plus 1, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
And okay, let me write it in this way, then it will be more clear, much more clear. Let me first introduce this I plus 1, then it will be much more clearer. Okay, yes, you are right. So first calculate what is the probability if any individuals are means in the population is in the state I, what is the probability it will go to I plus 1 state? So it will nothing but this probability that in this way that individuals are increasing by number 1 and it is going to I to I plus 1 state. Its probability is we have to select randomly what n type individual and we have to eliminate what b type individual. And what is the probability that it will go from I to I minus 1 state? That now we have to randomly pick a b type individual to reproduce and one a type individual to die. That way this will
But then this pi comma I plus 1, it should have been I plus 1 by n.
no, from
Why
the
so? Because now say we have got the I plus 1 number of the A's,
no
isn't it?
no from ith state to I plus 1 means it is at the suppose in the time we have ith number of individual and simultaneously we are taking two individual, one for dying and one for dying and one for reproducing.
Oh, I see. So I select the ith, I select 1A with the probability of I by n, and then 1B must die, isn't it?
Yes.
To keep the things balanced.
Hmm.
So there should have been then n minus I. Oh, I see. Yes, you are right. Yeah.
So then what is the probability of remaining at ith state? That will be not.
And how did you get this pi comma I plus 1? What does it mean that the probability of? How can we go backward?
I to I minus 1. So similarly,
Yes.
if I take one B individual to reproduce and one A individual to die.
So it should have been say I minus 1 to I rather than I comma I minus 1. I mean, we cannot move towards, back. How can I go in the back side?
So if one A die in this process, so if B individual reproduces but one A dies,
So then what the meaning of pi comma I minus 1?
so from I here how many A type of individuals were there previously? I type of, now one A type of individuals dies. So
Oh,
now
I see. I see. I minus 1. Yes. It's okay now. Yeah, fine.
so this will be P I to I plus 1. So nothing is happening. What will be the probability of remaining in the state? 1 minus this and minus this. So it is going nothing, nowhere. It is not going to I plus 1 state and not going to I minus 1 state. That's why we could write it in this way. Now generally this you can write is in terms of transition matrix, and it is called actually a transition matrix. What is transition here? So these states, these are called the transition probability. This probability is showing that from what is the probability to go from ith state to I plus 1, what is the go from I minus 1. And now since we know this, and to go from any other state from I to suppose I plus 2 and I plus 3 will be 0, and I to I minus 1 is going to 0 in one step. In one step, we since we assume only one individual will reproduce and or maybe one individual will die, in one step there is no other probability, no other transition probability exists. Now I ask that if suppose, now we suppose that if in the population I type of A type of individuals, I number of A type of individuals, what is the probability this from this ith number of A type of individuals population will go in the long run all A state. So that is suppose xi. Similarly, from what is the probability that from I minus 1 A type individual that population will all go to all A state, that the probability is x I minus 1. And what is the probability that from I plus 1, if I initially put my population in such a way that in that population only I plus 1 number of individuals there, now what is the probability that these will automatically go toward, by this birth death process, go towards all A state? That probability will be xi plus 1. Now I can write a recursive formula to write down what is the value of xi. Why I can write this recursive formula? Because you see, we know x equal value of x equal to 0, as you are as we are talking about x equal to 0 should be 0, and we also know x equal to n. If the all individual initially are all A type, what is the probability that in long run it will reach to all A type? It is obviously it is 1, because it is already there. So it is already there. Now, okay, if you have any question.
So, yes, but then I have a small point here that so you wrote say pi comma I plus 1. So from the I number of the A's, now we are moving to the I plus 1 number of the A's. So if I take the summation of pi comma I plus 1, say from 0 to n, Then this will give me the total thing, the probability
No,
of I mean having this thing or what? No,
no.
pi, product of the pi comma I plus 1, and then wherein I varies from 0 to n,
So
isn't
let's
it?
let's see. So you are saying
Okay.
that will give you the probability of going in.
Yes, yes.
So let's see what is coming. Let's see.
Okay, okay, okay.
So xi. So now in between we can write for any state which is not 0, not n equal to 1, n. What will be the probability of going from I state? That will be it in the one step. What it could go, where it could go? It could go either in I plus 1 state, and the probability of going from I plus 1 state is x I plus 1, and it may also be the case it could go from I to I minus 1, and what is the probability of fixate at all a type at I minus 1, that is x I minus 1, and it may also remain at x plus I, and what is the probability of remaining at x plus I, that is pi comma I, and what is the probability of reaching at I equal to n, that is xi. So this is the case. Now let's solve this equation xi. Since we know this, let me write first the what is the value of p I comma I plus 1, that will be I by n to n minus I by n, and this is what is the value of I. This will be the value of this I by n. This is the same as pi comma I plus 1. So instead of, now we can solve it by writing this. Let me solve it here. Let me rub this. uh, this will be, then this is the same, so this will be pi I comma I plus 1. Now I can take this thing here, I 1 minus p I comma I, pi comma I. So what is the value of pi? Pi is 1 minus I plus 1 minus I minus 1. Since I plus 1 and I comma I minus 1 is same, that means we can write it here xi 1 minus 1 plus 2 pi comma I plus 1. That will be pi comma I plus 1 xi plus 1 plus xi minus 1. So this gives us, since this is cancelled and this will cancel, so this gives us xi equal to xi plus 1 plus xi minus 1 by 2. So this is gives what is the probability of going from I state to all n state. It is the probability of sum of going from I plus 1 to n state and I minus 1 to n state. Now could we calculate the value of xi? Yes, we could. Let us see that, because we know what is the value of x0. This is 0, and we know that what is the value of xn, it is 1. So let us calculate what will be the value of x1. That will be x I plus 1, that means x2 plus x I minus 1, that will be 0 by 2. So that means x2 will be 2x1. Now what will be the value of x2 then? Let x2 will be again x3 plus x1 by 2, and it will give you that x3 plus x1 equal to 2x2, and if you put the value of 2x2 you will get x3 equal to 3x1. Similarly you will get in the x4 equal to, let me calculate the x4, then you will find the similarity. X4 equal to x5 plus x, sorry, this should be x2, this should be, okay, okay, this, no, I was correct, this is x1, Now I have to calculate x3. x3 will be x4 plus x2 by 2. Then I'll get x4 will be 2x3 minus x2. 2x3 means 6x1 and minus x2 means minus 2x1. So this is 4x1. Now you can see that my x2 is 2x1, x3 is 3x1, x4 is 4x1 and x1 is 1x1. So this is the recursive formula. Now I can know that what will be the xn value from, if I go from this way, that value should be nx1. But from our known knowledge we know that xn should be 1. So xn should be 1, so that means xn equal to 1 equal to n x1. That means what will be the value of x1? That will be 1 by n. Now we know that what is the value of x1. Now we can easily calculate what is the value of xi. That will be nothing but I by n. So now we know that from if in the population initially we begin with ith a type of individual, what is the probability that all will from this birth death process, all from the this birth death process is called neutral dip, from by this neutral dip all will go towards all state. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now why this is makes sense, right? Why? Because you see, since the everyone's fitness is same, everyone has no advantage in birth and death process, we are taking one random individual to birth and one random individual to death. Now if I ask what should be the probability of any individual to take over whole population, and that should be equally probable. That should be equally probable because in principle there is no difference between between the process, actually not differentiate between any individual. So that means for any individual the probability that that individual's offspring will be the whole, means will be invade the whole population, that probability should be equal. And if it is equal for n individual, what probability it should be? It should be x equal to 1 by n. So that's why it makes sense, because since the my process does not discriminate between any individual, then the probability of any one individual to means any one individual's offspring will become the whole all type of individuals is equal, means it is equally probable for all individuals. So that's why it will become 1 by n. And if there are ith a type individuals, and every ith a type individuals probability is the same as 1 by n, what will be the total probability? That will be I by n. That's why it makes sense x equal to 1 by n. Now whatever your means you are suggesting that it should be multiplication, in the next step you will find that that kind of multiplication is coming here. So in this is a kind of birth death process where I just select one with some probability and means going to this is some with some probability that I calculating from our argument. Now in place of this, if just I want to write this formula for any general birth death process, no fitness difference but any birth death process, any birth death process. So suppose the probability of birth is alpha I. So probability that p I to I plus 1 is alpha I, and p I to I minus 1 is beta I. So the probability from going to I to I plus 1 is alpha I, and going to I to I minus 1 is beta I. Now I want to calculate the same thing again. I just not want to means in the previous case if you see, the main thing is my birth probability and death probability become same. Birth of A type individual is equal to the death of an A type individual. So because of that, this kind of thing is happening. Now I am saying that in principle in the birth death process, there could be the possibility that my probability of giving birth is not equal to means probability of dying. So probability of birth is alpha I suppose, and probability of dying is beta I for A type individuals. Now let us write the same equation. The equation will be remain same. The x0 will remain again 0, and x I and xn should remain 1, and xi will now become, what should it become? So 8 could go from I to I plus 1 state. That means what will be the probability? Okay, that probability is nothing but alpha I, and from, since it goes to I to I plus 1, now it reach to I plus 1. Now what is the probability from there to achieve all A state? That is xi plus 1. Now from beta I it write 1 minus I, and again plus 1 minus alpha I minus beta I xi. So this would be the case. Now let's solve us generally. So let us take xi in this side. So this will become x into, okay, so xi will be alpha I xi plus 1 xi plus 1 minus xi plus beta I xi minus 1 minus xi plus xi. So you will find that uh, what is happening? Yes. So beta I xi minus xi minus 1 is equal to alpha I xi plus 1 minus xi. So you will find that you will find that if, now if we assume, now let us change the variable. Suppose you choose yi equal to xi minus I minus 1, then what will this side become? You will get alpha I yi plus 1 equal to beta I yi. Now why I am choosing, you will see it. So this will become beta I by alpha I yi. Now
So actually, these calculations are not clear.
okay,
I mean, what this yi here is?
yi is basically y is xi minus I.
Okay, just a term, just a term.
Just
Fine.
so I am
So,
just defining this as yi.
oh, I see, I see. So then, xi plus 1 minus xi will denote what?
You see, if I in place of I, if I write it I plus 1, what it will become?
So
What
the
should,
probability, because xi is represented in terms of the probabilities,
no
isn't
no
it?
no no,
Or the actual number?
it's yi nothing to do with physical meaning. It's only for the mathematical purpose. To
Mathematical
solve,
convenience, right, right, right.
for solving the equation, and I
Fine.
plus yi plus y is naturally will become xi plus 1 minus xi.
Oh, I see. I see. Fine,
Let
but still, in the while writing this xi, you wrote alpha I and then multiplied by xi plus 1 minus xi. Why so?
because I am getting that here from here by solving. If you solving this equation, up to this equation it is right.
No, I mean that is not clear, because this
Okay.
alpha you wrote alpha I as, say, the probability of having I plus one number of the A's from, say, whatever number. So I mean, making a transition, say, with the value A. So I was also A, and A is producing capital A kind of the thing, and that probability is alpha I. And and the capital A dies with the probability of beta of I. That is what you wrote here. So then, how could you write this thing that alpha I x I is equal to alpha I and then
Exactly.
x I plus
Let's
1?
go back a little bit from here. Whatever logic was there, is it clear? This equation is clear. If this equation is clear, then maybe it is clear. So xi is the probability from going I to I equal to n state. Now in this step, what it could do, it can either go to I plus 1, and maybe from there it could go x means I equal to n state. So if I multiply this probability, I will get the probability that, what is the probability that from ith state to reach nth state. Is this equation is clear? Is this equation is clear?
Yes, yes, yes. It is clear to me now. Yeah.
Okay. If this equation is clear, then I just putting this value, this birth rate and death rate, some general number. In the previous case, this birth rate or death rate is comes to same, is bi to I plus 1 is same. For the modern process it is same. Now I just want to put some general number alpha beta. Now is it
Yes, yes.
now is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Now just I want to solve the equation. So I am solving the equation. So at last I get some equation which is this. Now what is the value of, if you find what is the, okay, now what is the value of you see x0, what is the value of x0, what is the value of y0, y0 y0 value is 0. Suppose what is the value of y1 maybe. Okay, let me do it here in this way. So you see, if I sum all over, if we sum, why I am choosing this I in this manner, I equal to 1 to n. If we sum all i's, what you will get? Let's see. You will get it will get first y1 plus y2 plus y3 plus dot 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 plus yn. What will be the y1? Y1 is x1 minus x0. What is the value of y2? It is x2 minus x1. What is the value of y3? It is x3 minus x2. And what is the value of yn? It is yn minus 1 yn minus yn minus yn minus 1. Now you see this this term will cancel out with this, and x1 is automatically 0, x0 is 0, so this is 0. Now this term will cancel with this, and again you will find this term will cancel with this, and with the previous term you will find that this term will also cancel, and you summation of yi, sorry I this is not the case, this is with xn minus xn minus xn minus 1. So you will find that this term will be cancelled to the previous term. Now only thing will left, that will be xn. So if I sum over all i's over yi, it will get yn. Now if I sum over up to I equal to 1 to j, what it will get? So first term is x1 minus x0 plus second term is x2 minus x1 plus in this way, in the previous term it will be x j minus 1 minus x j minus 2 plus x j minus xj minus 1. Now you see this term is 0, this term will be cancelled with this term will cancel with y3, and this yj minus term will be cancelled with this, and this term will be cancelled with previous term, so only thing will left with xj. So now if you sum over jth yi, you will get xj, and if you sum over n yi term, you will get xn. Now from this equation you can see we can get yi very quickly. So let us, what will be the value of y1 or maybe y2? What is the value of y2? y2 will be alpha, y2 will be, what will be the y2? Y2 will be, I have to put
beta 1 by alpha 1 and then
exactly,
y1.
exactly, beta 1 by alpha 1 by y1, exactly. Then what will be the value of y3? That will be beta 2 by alpha 2 into y2, that is beta uh, beta 2 by alpha 2. If I put the value of y2, that will be beta 1 by alpha 1 y1. Now in the similar manner, if we want to calculate what is the value of yj, that will be beta j by alpha j into beta j minus 1 by alpha j minus 1 into this way up to beta 1 by alpha 1 to y1. So we can write this in this symbol is k equal to 1 to j, this is multiplication symbol, into beta k by alpha k and y1. So this is yj. Now since we know the value, what is the yn? Yn will be pi equal to k equal to 1 to n. I am actually wrong here. For yj it should be started from the j minus 1, right? Because for y3 it is started from b2 beta 2. So for yj case it should be started from beta j minus 1. So it should be beta I2 j2 k equal to 1 to j minus 1. Here k equal to 1 to n minus 1. This will be again beta k alpha k yk y1. Now if I sum all these numbers, what I will get? I will get y1 plus y2 plus y3 plus dot 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 yn. This should be xn, and we know that what is the value of, we previously calculate this is xn, and what is the value of xn? That is 1. And if I put these values here, what I will get? You will get, if we take y1 common, then you will get 1 plus, this will be j equal to 1 to 1, means only one terms. This will be, or maybe write it in this way. This way will be very simpler. K equal to 1 to j minus 1. Oh, sorry. Let me write in this way. Beta 1 by alpha 1 plus beta 2 by alpha 2 into beta 1 by alpha 1, this way, plus this will be beta n minus 1 alpha n minus 1 to beta 1 by alpha 1 equal to 1. And y1 means, you see, y1 means x1 minus x0, and we know the x0 value of x0 is 0, so this means y1 means x1. Means x1, this could be right in this way, 1 plus summation of j equal to 1 to n minus 1. Now for j equal to 1, you see here only one multiplication, so we can write, suppose beta 1 by alpha 1, let beta I by alpha I denote it by gamma I. So here only one term, so it will be summation multiplication of k equal to 1 to j gamma k equal to 1. Is it clear, this expression?
Yes, yes.
Then x1 will be 1 over this value, 1 plus summation j equal to 1 to n minus 1 k equal to 1 to j comma k. So this will be the value of x1. Now what will be the value of xj? We know that xj value is summation of jth term is xj is 1 to j y k. So here if you go back here, what is the value of xj? Xj is sum over jth yi's, so that I am writing here summation over jth k equal to 1 to j yk. So this will be nothing but it will be similar. Here you go for a net term n minus 1, here it will go for only j, so this will become xj will become summation of, maybe write one symbol, not write j here or write y here, then it will be fine. Summation of yj j equal to 1 to I, exactly it will become 1 plus y1 plus y2 plus dot 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 plus yj. So then you can write it 1. So if we take common y1 common, which y1 means sorry, this is no 1 is there, no one is there, from y1 it is started. So if you take y1 common, 1 plus, you can write it again in this way. This will be uh, from j equal to 1 to I minus 1 pi equal to k equal to 1 to j gamma k. So since we know the value of y1 or x1 is, if we put it there, so it will become 1 plus summation equal to 1 to I minus 1 gamma k by 1 plus j equal to 1 to n minus 1. So now let's talk about a little bit why we are interested in such quantities, some horrible looking quantities, why we are such interested in the evolutionary case. Because we want to see one thing, that is called the absorbing, this is technically called this absorbing probability, this or the fixation probability. We want to know the fixation probability, it's called fixation probability. What does this fixation probability means? Now we will talk about one thing, that suppose in the population all red type individuals are there, all b type individuals are there, all b type individuals are there, so all b type individuals are there. Now we want to ask one question, suppose by some any means, by suppose any mutation, by only one mutation, suddenly one red type individual produces one blue type individuals, one a type individuals, one a type individuals in all b type population. So that means my population state is I equal to 1 by some mutation. Now what is the probability that in long run A will fixate in the population, that means this will become in long run, what is the probability in the long run this population will become like this, all A type. There is no B type at all A type, that means A actually invade whole population. And here we are in the framework that no individuals has a fitness advantage, all the individuals has the same fitness advantage. Now I am asking, what is the probability that A type will automatically by this is called genetic drift or neutral drift. By neutral drift, why it is neutral, there is no selection advantage. What is the probability that one A type individual will automatically invade the whole population? That means all in the all B type individuals, if one A type individuals appears by mutation or by somehow, it will become all A type. What is the probability? And we have already calculated that probability. That probability is nothing but by denoting by this quantity x1, it is called the fixation probability of A in the population B, and that quantity is nothing but rho A that we have all calculated already. That will be 1 by 1 plus summation of I equal to 1 to n minus 1 gamma j equal to 1 to k equal to 1 to j gamma. So that's it.
So do we have some understanding that whether this transition will occur gradually or all of the sudden, like say in the case of the chaos kind of the thing, that when the value is just smaller than this probability, then there would be many A's. I mean some age at least in the pool, and beyond that probability, all of a sudden the everything becomes blue kind of thing.
Or you are saying that what is the rate of that the mutation A, then only we will see this thing. Are you asking this, that what is the rate of mutation such that this transition will happen?
I could not hear you for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your question? If you means if I understand it correctly, then you are asking me that can we calculate or can we determine the rate of mutation such that this event will occur?
Not the rate of the mutant,
Huh.
but probably you talked about the chaos kind of the thing. So my question is that whether such a transition would be gradual, there would be a gradual increment in the number of the blue colors
Okay.
and the gradual decrement in the colors of the reds, or all of a sudden will it happen that beyond a point, I mean all of a sudden the blue will get converted into
No,
the
no,
A's because of this thing.
no, no. You see, the thing is, our population state will gradually go towards all A, because our what is our dynamics is happening here. All is happening here in a one step. Only one individual actually, one individual is born and one individual is dying. That is the process. I am taking two individual from here. One individual going to die and one individual taking birth. So it is not all of a sudden. Gradually we'll see, and the dynamics will be chaotic like thing, exactly chaotic like thing, but not, let us not use the chaotic word because it is related with deterministic part. But you are exactly correct, it is actually look like some chaotic dynamics, means it will increase in this manner. Sometimes a type of individual increase, sometimes b type of individual increase, but at the end of the day you will see that this population will hit either one of the two boundary, either it this process from this to this, either it hit all A type, all A, or it may also all B. So the process will look like that. The number of A type individuals will look like it will sometime increase, sometime decrease, and at the end of the day it may go toward this boundary or it may go toward this boundary. Is it clear?
Yes.
It's not all of a sudden just some probability with some fish, it's not go with this direction. All of a sudden it will not happen. It will increase, but it will in the random manner. Sometime it go, when if you know about this problem. So this is that with random work kind of thing, sometimes the population state will increase, sometimes population state will decrease, and with this manner at the end of the day you will observe that the population either hit all A state or either hit all B state. And I am asking, what is the probability? What is the probability that it is actually hitting all A if I started with only A individual in the all B population? That makes sense in evolution sense. I am saying that if two fitness are same, now all of a sudden by some mutation, some A type individual came. Now what is the probability? It may also happen that they will this population will go all red type, that A actually die. This may also happen, but I am saying what is the probability of that? This is called the fixation probability of A, because A is actually fixed in the whole population. This is the same, and now from here we can calculate also the other thing, that is called, what is the probability that a single b type individual will, that will be n minus 1. Let us calculate. Okay, let us write it. Let us write it, then it will be final. Okay, this is actually x1. Now here, now what is the probability of other question, that if suppose blue type all a type individuals present there, now suddenly one a type individual in place of some, b type individual, some a type individual occurs randomly. Now I am asking the reverse question. Suppose in all a type population, if some b type individuals occurs in the population, what is the probability that it will become all b type individual, this kind of population, all b type individuals, what is the probability? Now
So can't I take the negation of this 1 minus this thing? No.
1 minus of x1.
1
No,
minus of t a kind of thing. Yeah, 1 minus of x1. No.
no, 1 minus of x1 will be that if this is the x1 probability, the what is the other case, this case will be 1 minus x1. From a type individual to go, one a type individual to go all red b type individual, this is the 1 minus x1, but it is the other case. But you are right, in that sense we can calculate it. So what is it say, that from, what is the probability from n minus 1 state to go n state, right? I have to calculate, if I know that what is the probability x to n minus 1 a type individuals to this state, all n, that probability you already know, that is x n minus 1. Is it right?
Yes.
Then the negation is, you are actually right. What will be then? This rho b, this is nothing but 1 minus x n minus 1. Is it correct?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the thing, not 1 minus x1 but 1 minus xn minus 1. Now
Right, right.
if you calculate it, you will get, means it is very simple to calculate, but I am not calculating. You will get this expression, this k equal to n minus 1 gamma gamma k by 1 plus same thing, 1 plus j equal to 1 to n minus 1 gamma k equal to 1 to j gamma. So this thing you will get. So this is it. This is the fixation probability of rho b, and this is the fixation probability of rho a, because it makes sense because of our ESS kind of thing, because here only one type of mutant came in the population, and what is the probability that it will invade the whole population? Here only one a type individual came in the population, what is the probability it will go to all a state? So that's it for the today's class. In the next class we will see that if some constant selection, in presence of some constant selection, if I introduce some constant selection, what kind of fixation probability we will get, and in presence of frequency dependent selection, means up to now there is no game theory comes. Now if I introduce the frequency dependent selection, what will happen? So that we will see. So if you have any question, then you can ask me, or we can end this meeting here.
So did you, I mean, could you find a way to reduce the size of the node so that I
No,
can develop?
until now I have tried once, but let me I means I don't know how to reduce this one. I am using OneNote to write, and from OneNote I am extracting the PDF file, but I don't know how to reduce the size of the PDF file. But I am trying. But do you know any process by how one?
Actually, I'm not aware of. But then, if you are using, I mean, which operating system are you using? Windows or Linux?
It is a Mac.
Mac. So I don't know, but then there are some tools. And online also you can do it pretty
Okay.
easily. There are
Okay.
websites available.
Okay.
You can use those
Okay.
websites.
Okay. Thank you. Then I will
Thank you
try.
then. Yeah. Tomorrow same time.
At tomorrow same time.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.